What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. On the left side here, we have Kashtira, a deck that has been around for quite a bit now, but with the new hit of a Rise Heart in the last ban list, this deck has been absolutely just guttered, ultimately just now being like a true Draco form of deck. On the right side here, we have Dragon Link, another deck that's been hit and still is going strong here. You know, Dragon Link is a very powerful deck that a lot of fan favorites are playing. You know, the Bestials are certainly powerful, but they won't be serving that much purpose in a deck like this, you know, in a matchup like this, where they're not going to hit in the graveyard, as well as they're not going to be lights and darks here. Before we dive into like, comment, subscribe, we're on the road to 5K here. You know, we want to be hitting that before the end of this year, and we need your guys' help. We're going to be seeing the Fenrir, or the Kashtira player moving first by starting off with a Fenrir, especially when it's out in the fence position, and going to be activating its effects here to search for a copy of potentially a Unicorn or a Rise Heart, depending on what their hand is. You know, if they have a way to find, like, let's say they have Birth in the hand already, they have very powerful ways, you know, to summon stuff out. I always forget about, you know, Theosis as well being a card, you know, being able to summon out, like, a Fenrir or a Unicorn from the deck, depending on which one that they have already here. But we will be seeing a Rise Heart. And at this point, I don't think our opponent knows exactly what we are on. We're going to see Rise Heart being special summoned out, activating the effect. It's going to be banishing a copy of the Unicorn here. So probably already having a Birth in the hand. And that's going to make our opponent banish the top 3 cards of their deck face down. Turning this into a level 7 here. And then we can go into a copy of Shangri-La. We do see an Econ as well there, which is, you know, this deck reminds me a lot of True Draco, to be honest. We're going to see the Shangri-La. They're only seeing a set 2 and a pass. And that will be summoning out a Unicorn or a Fenrir during the standby phase. If, of course, it gets that far. We're going to see a draw for turn here, and then standby phase, Shangri-La is going to be summoning out a copy of Fenrir. Fenrir does put a lot of pressure on Dragon Link, but we're going to be seeing them start off with a Regained. That is a very powerful card. And then we're seeing a Safer being normal summon. This will allow, putting the Regain there will allow us to, like, not have to banish, you know, essentially a key part of the deck. You know, because if they do banish, let's say, a Striker Dragon or a Lubellion or something like that, a Magnemite, you know, it can be quite problematic here. We're going to be seeing the Safer, you know, being summoned, and then it's going to get hit with a Imperm here, because it is not a quick effect. And then we're going to be linking away for a copy of Striker Dragon here, and it's important that we do not activate the effects of the Striker Dragon. In this case, I think we also have Boot in the hand anyway, so we wouldn't activate it regardless. But we're going to see the Red Eyes Meteor Dragon activate, which sends a normal monster, which is very cool, you know, being black metal, having multiple uses here, because this card is not once per turn, by the way. I mean, the Baby Black Dragon, this one is. So it dumps a normal monster from the deck to the graveyard, which in this case is the Driver, because we can now play Gamma. You know, it is at 1, but, you know, we have dual purposes of the Gamma/Driver in the deck. It definitely makes sense to be able to play it. Then we're going to see a Link 2 going for a copy of Romulus. It looks like. I'm not too sure how they end up clearing a board like this. We're going to see a Romulus going to activate its effects. I guess they have to just pray. And we're going to see it get hit with a Mourner. With 3 cards left in hand, one of them being a Talents. You know, Talents will now be live to be able to potentially take the Fenrir. We're going to see them activate the Talents. Or, yeah, definitely not in that. They're like, have to make sure here. They could have put it in the middle column because it cannot be an Imperm because, you know, the Romulus is already negated. But we're going to be seeing them put it in a column that has no spells and traps there, making sure. They're going to take the Shangri-La here, which to me is very interesting, choosing to take that over the Fenrir. You know, Fenrir is still going to have its effects to resolve. Maybe trying to bait the Fenrir so they can banish to put back. And then we're seeing a normal summon of, or not a normal, like a normal summon. What is this card? I was like, it's Legionnaire there. The alt art Chaos Dragon Legionnaire. You know, banishing to summon itself out. And we're going to go Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. And then we can Chain Link 3 the Fenrir if we wanted to. But we are going to be seeing them chain the Econ to this as well. And they take the Legionnaire, it's going to get destroyed. And they get to put back and then draw a card. It's interesting they didn't chain the Fenrir there and then chain the Econ to it. You know, they get a Fenrir banished, let's say, for example, the Chaos Dragon, and then stole the Romulus, just essentially just lose like 2 cards onto the field here. But we're going to be doing some of the quick launch lines here, which are going to be able to put back the Romulus, or equip the Romulus so it can have a negate here. You know, having a little bit of effects. Then we can banish the Safer to add back the Legionnaire if we wanted to as well, which is very nice. You know, they only have 1 card left in hand. So we're going to see a battle phase attack. Maybe thinking some lines there, but we could just link away with the Shangura, no? We are going to see them link away for maybe an SP. Then SP can then banish. And they do take the damage, yeah, off the Mourner here. They'll check the Rise Heart. I don't think there's actually any good targets to banish here. It doesn't really make any difference because they can just reborn them out of the graveyard as well as the banish zone with Birth. So hitting the Rise Heart there. It could be a conditional to have it so that we can, you know, go for maybe a Despater later. We're seeing Monster Reborn going to be activated here. There's no way. Something with the Fenrir. That is like a crazy top deck. And this just right out, you know, just, yeah, battle phase clears the SP, which is so problematic. And then we're going to be seeing the Fenrir effect going to be in a main phase 2. Going to be able to search here for the Rise Heart, which will be able to give him an additional level 7 onto the field here. You can banish the copy of Theosis off of this. And then we're going to be banishing top 3 cards of our opponent's deck. And Theosis can actually add us back here, but we do have the Regained. So Theosis is going to activate here, targeting the Unicorn here. Then we're going to be seeing a tribute summon for our Unicorn, because then this can then search for a copy of Birth. They can activate Birth, and then Birth can reborn out the Fenrir from the graveyard. And now we have Birth access, which is pretty nice because we can banish 3 spells from the graveyard, which is not going to make that much of a difference. But, you know, our opponent is now on 1 card and a Legionnaire. And we should kind of know that that card is Boot Sector Launch because they did not search it off of Striker Dragon. And so we're going to see the Safer going to be activated, you know, adding back the Legionnaire. We could chain Fenrir to this or even a Unicorn to rip their extra deck. But we're going to be seeing the Unicorn being triggered here. We could have chained the Fenrir to banish it face down, so that we would not have any regained effects, and letting them essentially just be on those 2 cards. And we do see that they're on 2 seals here, which is pretty nice. And we're going to be seeing them that additional draw there, which is a white dragon, which is absolutely incredible. And then Birth gets to banish. And they're going to read Birth here. I think it banishes anything, but it might just be just spells and traps. If it gets to just banish anything, oh, it does. So it's going to be banishing face down, leaving just SP and Romulus in the graveyard here, getting rid of those rocket cards, as well as, not having enough to be able to summon stuff back out. Legionnaire is going to have such a hard time going to be summoned off of this. We do have White Dragon to be able to banish off the SP Little Knight, because SP is a dark, no? I think SP is a dark. I'm just going to check right now. It's never had made any difference. It is a dark, yeah, because you can go off Rage. But we're going to be seeing the Dragon Link player scoop it up here, not having enough gas. That drawing that Boot Sector launch is kind of unfortunate. But Fenrir is a very problematic card here. I think there was a little bit of a misplays with, the Kashtira player there. And definitely that Econ and chaining the Fenrir could have been a little bit different. But at the same time, it is nice that they were able to wipe their graveyard out of darks and lights. If they would have banished SP with the light, Fenrir then could have activated banishing it face down. And then that would have left them with Boot, Nib. Yeah, Boot, Nib, and then essentially just Boot, Nib, and that Legionnaire in the hand. And that would have been absolutely just done for. Because then they can just essentially OTK you because you're already down 12. And they are able to attack. So, very problematic. That's 24 bodies. Are quite big. You think about 24 is already a quarter of your life and more. So, quite problematic here. But with Dragon Link going to be able to go first, can Kashtira actually break a board? There are very powerful board breaking cards here. But will we see maybe an Evenly Matched or a Lightning Storm or anything of the other sorts which can just blow out that Dragon Link board, which has the kind of potential of having multiple different interruptions, we see always some being in the graveyard, some being in the back row there with Regained being an insanely powerful card. But we're going to be starting off with a Rocket Tracer being summoned out, linking away into a Striker Dragon, searching for that Boot Sector launch. And then we're going to be able to activate the Striker Dragon to pop itself to add back, which is going to be the Tracer. We're going to play the Boot, and then it's going to be summoning out the Tracer from the hand that we added back, and then we're going to be popping that Boot with the Tracer, summoning out the Recharger, going into the copy of the Savage, which is going to be able to equip a Striker Dragon, and we pass on this? No way. We must be bricked up on hand traps or Bestials or something. But even Bestials are pretty crazy. We have 2 sets, which is pretty nice, but they're going to have to be very good sets to be able to end up beating a deck like this. This is True Draco 2.0, essentially. We're going to see Pressured Planet be activating here. Going to let us search. Searching for Fenrir or Unicorn here, which is the question. Going for a Rise Heart. That is not what I thought we were going for. Now check out what the Savage does. I believe it's at 35. We're going to see a unicorn being special summoned out here. They're going to activate the effect, search for a spell. They're going to negate with the Savage. And they can chain the effect here, which is going to be able to look at the extra deck. Going to get rid of that SP Little Knight. You know, that is a very good card mid-game here. We see those Todd sleeves as well. Shout out to Todd. Then we're see a Birth going to be activated here. So not even needing that unicorn effect. And it's going to be able to normal summon out the Fenrir here. Just absolutely having every card that we need to be able to stop this board. And we're going to see an Econ going to activate here. Tributing off the Boral to steal essentially the Fenrir on the summon there. And that's just going to be fine. It does stop that additional effect here. And we're seeing an Econ once again activating, tributing off the unicorn to summon back their own Fenrir essentially. What is this game? They're going to activate the Fenrir and they get hit with a Gamma. What is this? No way. They just wasted 2 cards on a Fenrir swap just to get hit with a Gamma. Wow. That's something else. We're going to see a Prosperity going to be activated here. And can we maybe get like an Ash Blossom at this point? That is crazy. Last card in hand is the Rise Heart. Oh no, we see Imperm Prosps, a Pressure Planet, an Econ, and then an Ash Blossom. We still can Reborn from the grave, no? I don't think we've reborn from the grave yet. We just normal summon from the hand. Do you just add back, like add an Econ and then just like sort of pray? Adding the Ash. So now we have Ash and Rise Heart alongside the Birth that can reborn out. Reborning out the Fenrir, which is pretty good. And we're going to see once again the Econ tribute to steal. We've seen this Fenrir being stolen 3 times. Chains possession. That's crazy. You know, try to stop it so that they cannot have that Rise Heart. And they're going to draw turn on this, or draw for turn on this. Just leaving that Fenrir on the field here. And they have to pass. Oh no. I mean, we do have the Thrust in the hand, but at the same time, if you don't have any cards to kind of get ashed, then you can't really activate the Thrust. But we burned a lot of resources on both players' parts playing turn around the Fenrir, I guess. Hot Potato Fenrir over here going to be finally able to activate its effects. Shooting for a Kashtira Ochre, which has 28 attack, by the way, which is pretty crazy for a, you know, being able to just normal summon this monster off of Birth here. Then we're going to see the Rise Heart special summoning himself out. Birth summoning out a Unicorn here. And this alone is just game. We're going to be seeing the Kashtira player end up taking in the Dragonlink player tries sliding a card face down. Like, oh, you want to attack over it. But they'd still have game anyways here. And then we're going to be unfortunately seeing that the Fenrir, or the Kashtira player end up taking it 2-0 here versus Dragonlink. All those resources to pass around that Fenrir just to get hit with a Gamma was absolutely unreal. But it didn't look like the hand of the Dragonlink player was that good. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe when we see some more content like this. Don't forget to stay safe. Peace.